Hi, everybody. Oh my God, this is so bizarrely weird. Okay. Full moon energy. Woo! Mercury's direct, and I'm still having technological things. How's everybody doing? How you doing today? I was live, or I thought I was live, and then it wasn't live. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah. So I've got all these people contacting me. What is going on? Why aren't you live? Why are you there? What's going on? Okay. Here we are. Here I am. Okay. So here we go. The reality is that life is going to be like this sometimes. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, here I am. Um, oh my God. High dose of sunshine. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Keith. Oh my God, thanks for being here. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so I was live. I don't know if anybody was watching because it kept showing as big fat zero on there. And I thought, you know what, I'm loving this conversation. So why am I not like nobody like it wasn't I can't believe it. You've been it's very strange. Really weird. Okay, so I'm gonna start all over again. So we can all just talk. Were you commenting too? I wasn't seeing any you were commenting? Oh my god, you guys were commenting and I couldn't see anything. Saw nothing. Ooh, okay. So, let's start this over again, shall we? Okay. So, all right. Let's get back into it. I know you heard most of it. First of all, let me say that today is the full moon. Yay. That's kind of always fun. And that always invites us to get rid of that which does not serve us. Right? So I am throwing away all the, let's just say, all of the angst that I feel right now that we didn't have the thing and all of the stuff, right? Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. So I'm throwing that all away, starting fresh. Let's have a discussion, shall we? Oh my God. Okay. So, want to say that today's a full moon, but August 12th is a total solar eclipse. Okay. We're not going to see it or have anything to do with it. We'll feel the energy here in the United States. We'll feel the energy. We won't see it. It's only going to be a total eclipse in like Greenland and Iceland and Spain and like, yeah. So just know that that's upcoming. Maybe, I don't know. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be fun to do a live during the solar eclipse? Even though we're not gonna see it here, it could be really cool to just, like, be in the energy together. So I was thinking about doing that. Anyway, okay, so what are we talking about today? Let's talk about this again. Um, our humanity. Okay, so this particular I wanna say this particular sort of question again, and I know that you guys have sat through some of this, but this particular sort of question is really thought provoking and really important, I think, right? So the question is this: what if your humanity isn't getting in the way of your spirituality, but what if it actually is your spirituality? What if? Like, whoa, what if we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing, even though we might feel like we're not doing enough, right? What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that? And I know you've already been typing stuff, and I didn't see any of it, so I apologize for that, but type it again. So, here's my point. Like, what if we're all just doing this? Like, we're being exactly as we're supposed to be, What if we are exactly who we're supposed to be spiritually, right? That's the cool, crazy thing, you know? I know. It's a crazy, interesting conversation, okay? So let's get into some of these discussion realms, okay? Let's get into this. What about our humanity makes us feel like why do we feel so um not enough? Okay? And let's like even put aside the yeah, of more spiritual for just a minute, right? Why do we think that we are not enough sometimes? And I'm sorry to say, but I really believe that a lot of us think this way. Like, we think this way. Like, I am not enough of and I'll just be real about this. Sometimes I feel like I'm not a good enough wife. I'm not a good enough mother. I'm not good at like, I should be doing this. I should have here's a good one. I absolutely should have done this when my daughter was younger. We all do that, right? Don't we? Tell me if we do. Oh, Rhonda. Oh my god, is this Rhonda that I was just with on Inside Timer? Oh my god, right? What are the lessons we are trying oh, I love this, Keith, right? What are the lessons we are trying to have learned about for years? Yeah, absolutely. Rhonda, thanks for coming. You're so sweet. Oh my god, I love you. Um, so Dose of Sunshine says, "Oh, yeah, we are already on the path of who we are supposed to be becoming in real time. It's hard to accept for some people, and so they think that there should be XYZ." I totally get that. Oh my god, I just realized your child's birthday's today and you're here, Rachel. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Not realizing that they already are. I feel like I do that, you know? Don't we do that? Just by sitting here and having this conversation should be enough. Like, we should think it through that we are enough. I mean, wow, you know? I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if we thought if we started really thinking that we are enough? I mean, oh my god. Like, can you imagine what kind of life we could live if we started thinking, "I am enough, so I'm gonna live like I'm enough." Oh my god. I got goosebumps on that. I needed this time today. Oh, I love you so much. It's a full moon. You can already imagine the uproar happening internally. Oh, for sure, right? Okay, and then Rhonda says, "But there is not a recipe book for enough." Right, so we always wonder. Oh my gosh, Rhonda, so true. So true. We always are wondering because there is not a recipe book. So, but here's my question, how do we maneuver through that? Is it about or should it be about us trusting spirit and everything that we're doing? Like, should we trust spirit more? That we are going in this right direction as we should, you know? Okay, I just because Rhonda, I just saw you on Inside Timer, it's like, I'm on Inside Timer. Is that enough? Like, when we go on Insight Timer and we go to a live or we go to we do a meditation or something, is that enough? What about if we just trusted that I'm right where I need to be? I'm right where I need to be for me. My God, right? So, in terms of that, one of the questions that I was talking about before was, can our struggles and those "I'm not enough"nesses oh my god, that is such a made up word. I love that I do that. Can you know, can that become sacred? Okay, so Keith says, "The full moon energy is so awakening." I know. And then Rhonda says, "I get it. My mom is on ho" oh, honey, I'm sorry. "My mom is on hospice right now. I argue with myself. Am I visiting her enough?" What okay, so maybe we need to sort of change our thought process of that. And maybe we need to say to ourselves, "What if I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in terms of law?" You know? I mean, trust me. I mean, forever, because I moved away from the small town near Pittsburgh all the way out to California, right? So, do you know how many times I have said to myself over the years, I should have stayed there. I should have cultivated that relationship more. I mean, we had a very my mom and I were very close, but what if I had lived there, I could have been there when she passed. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room when she passed. But guess what, you guys? I know why I wasn't in the room. Do you know that? Okay. Oh, this is such a great, like, story for this topic of conversation, right? I was beating myself up for not being in the room, okay? My sister was in the room. Now, my parents, when I was growing up, were stupidly, crazy stupidly fair for the both of us, which I appreciate now, right? Stupidly fair, right? What one kid had, the other had. If the one kid had, got praise on something, they would figure out a way to make praise on something I mean, they were crazy coolly fair, and I appreciate that, right? However, what ended up happening, and I know this with every fiber of my being, I was in the room when my father passed away, right? He allowed me to be in the room, and thank you for that, dad, right? But guess what? My sister was in the room when my mom died. Right? So, that was the fairness, and I didn't figure that out till, like, later, but that's the fairness. So, as I was sitting there beating myself up, I was taking all that energy that I was beating myself up. What if it was just the way it was supposed to be? Yeah, I know, right? Rhonda, that is such a huge, like, thing to so I wasted all of this energy feeling bad about not living there, not this and that. When it was gonna be that way anyway, because just I know my parents, you know, right? So, also, how about rest and relax? Taking care of yourself today, absolutely, right? And Rhonda, I know, right? It is such a cool story. So, interesting. Okay, so now that leads me to my next question of, is spirituality something that we do, or is it someone or something that we become? Boom. Right? What a question. Oh my god, what a question. Oh my gosh. Oh, so Rachel says, "Love the idea of the ocean of consciousness." Oh, so it makes me feel like a wave. It can't be wrong, and it doesn't need to get bigger or smaller to be the ocean itself. Rachel, that is freaking awesome. It can't and it doesn't need to get bigger or smaller to be the ocean itself, no matter what form it comes in. I mean, seriously, Rachel, that I'm blown away. That is such an amazing thought. And whenever you say humanity and spirituality coexist, absolutely. And I know that mentally, like, I think most of us do. We know that they coexist, right? But we need to sometimes consider it, you know? Consider it the ocean of consciousness. I love that. I'm gonna be thinking about that for the next 4 days. I can just tell you right here. Yeah. So Sunshine is actually her name is Rachel, just so you know. But, that is a really great way. You're right, Rhonda. This is such a beautiful way of thinking about it. Wow. The ocean doesn't need to be any one way or the other. It just is. And then Keith says, "I also say we are all energy and we can understand each other, but to find out the soul, wow, is the best thing." These are like gems, you guys. This is like huge. I am loving this. Love, love, love this. I also say we are all energy. We are, you know? We are all energy, and we can understand on that level then, we understand each other. Oh my god, it's so huge, right? And then Rachel says, "It helps free me of the weight of, like, why am I not doing enough? Or I should be here or there by now." Too heavy. Yeah, it's not too heavy, it's just it is heavy, but it's just but so okay, so where does when we're sitting here talking about all this, where does the idea of our humanity come into play? Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Where does in terms of this whole conversation, where does the idea of our humanity then come into play? It's pretty big. It's like, because I mean, I was saying before that, I was saying before that, it's okay to be human, it's okay to feel the feels of our humanity and all of that. But when we think about all of those really cool concepts that you guys are talking about, what does it like, where does our humanity come in? Does our humanity come in that we need to give our self a little bit more grace? I love that. I pulled the grace card, on at the end of, um, Inside Timer Live, and grace feels like we need to give ourself grace, and I gotta say oh, wait, that wasn't it. Where was it? Where's this card? Um, oh, here's the grace card, and ironically, that grace card and Rhonda heard it, right? But, my mother, whenever I see a deer, it reminds me of my mother because that's what we felt, we saw a deer, and then I had this whole big thing happen, whatever, so at any rate, um, yeah, so where does our humanity come in? Forgiveness and grace for ourself, right? Okay. Now, here's the next question then. Can cooking dinner or folding laundry, can that be spiritual? You know? What does our spirituality look like in terms of that? Like, the timing that we do it or how do I wanna say? Like, the timing, um, can all of our humannesses oh my god, I love that I make up words. Can all of that be considered spiritual? Rhonda says, "Each human's life experience is different." Absolutely, 100%. How we think about things is shaped by where we grew up in our culture, right. But was it supposed to be that way? Like, was I supposed to be born into or born to parents that were crazily fair? Was I supposed to be born that way to them? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it all and I guess that leads me to the question, was it all set up this way before we even came? Before we even were born? Was all of this set up? Or our emotions, our humanity, who we are, was all of that set up the way it was supposed to, right? Interesting question, you know? It's, it amazes me to think this way, you know? There are people that we say signed up for this life. I'm not sure what I think. Yeah, I know, me neither. I totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. Oh my god, Rhonda, I totally agree with that because, you know, I don't know. I agree with your statement because I'm not sure what I and that's one of those things that when we get to the other side, I feel like what's gonna happen is we're gonna have this moment of clarity, and we're gonna go, "Oh, of course." That's really what I feel like is gonna happen when I die. I'm gonna get up there and I'm up there. I'm gonna get over there, around there, whatever, and I'm just gonna go, "Oh, of course." That's really what I think is gonna happen, you know? What did we sign up for, and how many blessings and people are we gonna meet? I know, right? Like, I think that and I really believe this, that I was supposed to meet every single one of you. I was supposed to meet, I was suppo so Rachel is my assistant. I've known Rachel for several years. We have never met in person. But guess what? It doesn't matter, and Rachel, Rhonda, you've probably heard me say this before too, in that, like, I have never met most of the people, 99% of the people that, are on the Inside Timer lives, but I know their energy, you know? And because of that, I really feel like that I've was supposed to meet them. It was in the cards. Our lives were supposed to cross, you know? So, then that leads me to an interesting question. Here's a fun question. Does spirit really care, that we meditate every day? Or does spirit really care that we read and study that I study the Bhagavad Gita? Does spirit care? Or is it just me that cares and spirit reaps the benefits in a sense? Does that make sense? Like, I does spirit really care? Or does spirit just care we are that I'm a good person, that I'm doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing with my life? I think spirit cares about that, you know? I think that it just happens. Like, our life happens, and we are on this path where we're supposed to be. And so but does spirit care how we get there, or just that we get there? Interesting question, right? So, yeah, I mean, this is like a heavy, deep, deep, deep conversation. I love it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am gonna pull a card and I'm gonna channel my thoughts on it. I'm gonna channel the whole thing. That's what I'm gonna do. Next week, all of this will be worked out better, I promise. Okay, the technological stuff. That's what I'm gonna say. All right, so here's the card. I pulled the card, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm gonna channel a message and then, move forward in our lives, right? Okay, so here we go. Oh my god, how funny is this? I pulled this card earlier. I got the renewal card. Frog. Frog. I'm not a huge fan of frogs, I gotta be honest. I don't know why. It's just a thing. But, in terms of renewal, like, and why are frogs and here's a question, and, like, I don't know the answer to this. Why are frogs always part of, like, renewal, like, or retreat or, like, that sort of thing? Why? I don't know. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into it, like, you know what? Before I channel my message, I'm gonna pull out my spirit speak, and I'm gonna look at frogs. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this in front of you guys. Frogs. 356. Alright, alright. What do frogs have to do with anything? Okay, I always end up looking at the last paragraph. That's kinda how it works out. So, frogs are tuned keenly to sound. That's interesting. Okay. The frog is a totem of metamorphosis. Keith, if you're still here, this is really interesting. Um, a totem of metamorphosis. It is a symbol of coming into one's own creative power. It changes from an egg to a pollywog to a frog. Even if it becomes a frog, it lives close to and spends much time in the water. It also has contact with the creative force of which it came. Usually, frog people have strong ties to their own mothers. Okay, and now Rhonda said something. Frogs live in water as children and then on land as adults. Ooh, interesting. Is that a metaphor for humanity and spiritual talk? Oh my god. Wow. I think it might be. That's crazy. That is really cool. That is really, really cool. Oh my god, what a thought. Okay, wait, I wanna see one other thing because I forgot this. Okay, so this book is, like, my favorite book on animals. Transformation Through Water and Sound. That's what it says. This book is like so Ted Andrews, it's like my Bible as far as, like, animal totems and stuff, so, okay, so now that I've looked it up, let's do this, alright? Handle the message, renewal. Alright, so you know what? It's so interesting because I really feel like that spirit wants me to talk about not necessarily renewal, but an understanding, like, an understanding of who we are supposed to be, and just being who we're meant to be. Like, what if we allowed spirit to just take us wherever we need to go and be however we need to be, you know? I was talking the other day, and, this isn't quite channeling, but I was talking the other day about how, I for the longest time when I was really developing my mediumship gifts, um, I was sort of like a lot of people, a lot of mediums, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't this, and I was like, "I don't if I have to do that way to be a medium, then I probably wouldn't be able to do it because it's not fair because I happen to like the taste of wine, you know?" And then as I was, actually, if if you're, remember this, because I was talking about this the other day too, is that, when I was, learning, and I went through I'm gonna use the word phase just because it's a period of time, but I went through a period of time, I'll say it that way, 'cause it wasn't really a phase, like a period of time where I was very Christian, and I believed in Christianity the whole thing, and Jesus was everything, and if that's how you believe, you do you, okay? However, I started thinking about Jewish people, I started thinking about how, as a like, what so, like, everybody that's Jewish isn't gonna go to heaven? I mean, that makes sense to me. Okay. If it makes sense to you, more power to you, right? This is my story. And and then I started thinking, so I like the taste of wine, but I'm not allowed to have any, right? I like the show Bewitched, but I can't watch it. I loved rock music, but I can't listen to it. So that's how it was. And I kept thinking to myself, the if these are all the rules that I have to play by, that's putting my humanity aside. Like, why if I'm not supposed to drink wine, then why do I like the taste of it? You know what I mean? So as I'm sitting here talking, I'm like, "I think I'm gonna have a glass of wine tonight," you know? But the reality is that it didn't make sense to me, okay? But then once I started developing my mediumship and I started really understanding and getting into the whole spirituality of life, I started understanding that my humanity, and who I wanna be in this world, you know, um, that made me feel so much better. I wanna help people, and you know what? Those people that I wanna help don't necessarily care if I'm drinking a glass of wine or watching ghosts on TV or, whatever, right? So, it just that's where I morphed to, and if and that's just the way it is, and it's interesting because as I'm sitting here looking at this card going like, "Why aren't I channeling?" I feel like I just channeled that whole little space, you know? We can be ourselves. We can be our human self. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I really, really love that thought, so, yeah, so anyway, okay, so that's my story for tonight. I hope that this talk, um, helped somebody or made you think in a different way. Um, the idea I'm sorry to say, but the idea of the ocean Ocean consciousness, I love that. I'm gonna spend some time meditating on that, I wish you all well, and I'm sorry about the technological issues, and life is going better. I found you guys here. You know, Rhonda, you are such a special human being. Oh my god. Um, for years, I've seen you on Insight Timer, and your energy is just so beautiful. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for seriously. I mean, you know how like when you meet somebody at a party, like in person, and you just gravitate towards them and your energies are together. Well, that's how I feel about you online. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I appreciate you. So, all right. So that's that. I'm going to end the stream now. And I wish you all so much love. And thank you for being here. And have a beautiful evening. Namaste. Take care.